All right, welcome back to another episode of StichMethod. I am excited to do this one. We are trying to answer the question, did Hendrix use the CAGED chord system in his songwriting or in his playing? And I firmly believe the answer is a strong yes. Now, did he do it everywhere? Not necessarily, but it's a big part of his style, in my opinion. Now, do I play like Hendrix? No, I play like myself, but I can analyze and learn what's going on from Hendrix. So my job here is to try and educate you and present my case on whether or not we can see this happening. There is a lot to discuss, okay? We have to talk about CAGED chords, which are available in probably 2 videos linked below. If you can't find them, just type in StichMethod, CAGED, and you'll see it. Major chords and minor chords, we do have to recap that here. You do want to know your 5 pentatonic shapes, so you can type in StichMethod, 5 pentatonic boxes. You'll see the video pop up. You want to know those ingredients, and then after you know those ingredients, you'll have a good understanding of what we're going to present here. And so I need to hand select my jury, so you need to go look at that so I can present my case. All right, so let's get down to it. The first thing I need to talk about is the 4 to 5 chord shapes we're going to talk about. Now, CAGED chords are just shapes of chords, but you want to know that every time you play a chord, there's a direct link and correlation to a pentatonic shape that sits there right with it, and that's what this video is about. But before we get there, I want to talk about those chord shapes. So the ones that we're going to analyze, that we see Hendrix play a lot, and there is more, but I got to keep it narrow, is we're going to talk about the E major shape chord. Okay, this is the first piece of evidence that we got to talk about. This E major shape chord is nothing more than an E-shaped bar chord, and the root note is here. Now, the fun fact I have to bring up about this chord is that this guy connects backwards to the G-shaped chord here. All right, there's your root note. In case you don't know this stuff, you want to watch those videos I mentioned. So this is a G-shaped chord, and this goes and connects right here to the E-shaped chord with the same root note. I can play my G-shaped chord on the thicker side with my root note here. You can see it. There's my G-shaped chord. It connects right to my E-shape. Same chord. G connects to E as an E connects to G. Very simple. So you got to know that. Fun fact number 1. Fun fact number 2 is the A major shape chord. Okay, this A major shaped bar chord. A connects to the G shape up here. These are all the same chords, all right? This is a D chord here. If you now take your bar and move your first finger there and you play your G shape chord, this is a D chord here. So A shape connects to G shape, and the G shape connects to the E shape. You gotta know this stuff. Now, if you're already throwing up, you can turn this off, but you need to know this stuff. So now that we got that out of the way, pause the video, you can study that. We want to talk about some things. What chord shapes are we going to be talking about? Well, we will be talking about the E-shaped chord and its pentatonic. We will be talking about the G-shaped chord and its pentatonic. We'll be talking about the A-shaped chord, kind of, and its pentatonic, and we're talking about the A minor shaped chord and its pentatonic. So you want to know the E major shape, the E minor shape, the A shape, and the A minor shape. I think that's all I need for this video. I might all of a sudden go, oh, I forgot one, but you want to be very familiar with these chord shapes, okay, the basic bar chords. You also want to know that the E shape can connect to the G shape back here, and that the A shape can connect to the G shape up here. That's important. Okay. Let's get to it. All right, let's talk about the first chord that I want to talk about. The E minor shape chord, this guy. Okay, to put it plain and simple, this guy always goes with a form 1 pentatonic, no matter how you cut it. If you play this chord, and there's your root note here, I'm playing an A minor 5th fret, then A minor pentatonic, form 1. Always. But why? That's the question I want to answer. Why? Well, if you look at the intervals of a minor chord, they are 1, flat 3, and 5. If I were to look at the intervals of this chord, I have the 1 on the E string, the 5 on the A string, the 1 on the D string, the flat 3 on the G string, 5 on the B string, and 1 on the high E. And so those are the intervals. And if you look at a minor pentatonic form 1, you have 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1, those are chord tones. Flat 3, 4, 5, that's a chord tone, flat 7, 1. So this E minor chord shape always gets a form 1. Now, does this sound like Hendrix if I do this? Nope, because that's not what Hendrix does. What Hendrix does is he kind of combines them both. He says, well, I can see this nice chunk of this chord here, this first finger, and I'm going to kind of bar right here, and now I'm going to kind of play the pentatonics kind of 2 strings at a time, let one ring, but hammer on to another pentatonic note. Like that, but now with 2 strings. Maybe 3 strings. Oh, really? It wouldn't be a StichMethod video if I didn't go, right? So here we go. So here is the form 1 pentatonic always goes with the E minor pentatonic. If I played the E minor pentatonic up here, E minor chord shape. If I played the E minor chord shape here, you best be believing. This pentatonic goes with it. So what Hendrix does is he usually kind of like plays the root note and then plays, he said, okay, well, it's my A minor chord. It would be here in the E minor shape. And plays a pentatonic. Okay, so that's my exhibit A. The E minor chord shape always goes with the form 1 pentatonic. That is a CAGED chord and pentatonic correlation, always. Never not, as I say, okay? Let's talk about exhibit B. Exhibit B, we'll talk about the E major chord shape. So I'm going to take it down to a G just so we're not in the same place so the brain doesn't get too confused. So here's my E major chord shape. All right, that is a G chord. It's rooted on the 3rd fret. So this is the root note. Now interval-wise, it's going to be 1, 5, 1, major 3rd, 5, 1. So now the idea is, just to let you know, we had a minor chord and we put the minor pentatonic with it. And here we have a major chord and we're going to put a major pentatonic with it. Now, you got to know what I said in the beginning. Pentatonics both can be major and minor. We're going to discover that soon. But when we're thinking about how do we tell the difference, well, what chord are we playing? We're playing a G chord. So this is going to be the root note, a G major chord. So this guy here is going to be a G major pentatonic. This always goes with the form 2. Now, the form 2 shape off of this root note, fret-wise, would be 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5. Again, it helps if you know this stuff, so you might want to watch those videos I mentioned. So 3, 5, 3 with the middle finger, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5. And what does Hendrix do? When he sees this E major shape in his head, whatever he's doing, he's going to play this 1, 3, and 5, this little chord piece. And we can say, yeah, it's still the G major chord, but he's going to kind of bar his first finger there, and play this, and then with his pinky, and also he does do this little suspension. Now it's not in the pentatonic, I know, but we have a lot to talk about. But remember the old adage, where there's smoke, there is fire. And when you play this guy, it always goes. You can see a lot of the form 2 already just in that. This is an addition. We can call it suspension for now. He does it all the time. And if you want to grab the root note with your thumb here, you can. But I have very short thumbs and they don't like to be stretched. So now, here we go. So the E minor shape always goes with the form 1. Play 2 or 3 strings at a time, but play, one new note while you ring the pentatonics. To the form 2, grab that little chunk of the chord. And just in case I skipped over it, the intervals of this major pentatonic are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, and you can see the major chord is inside of it. So, that was Exhibit B. Exhibit A, the E minor shape always gets a form 1. Exhibit B, did I say that? The E major shape always gets a form 2. Exhibit C. Yeah, okay, we'll get to, Exhibit C, the A minor shape chord, all right? The A minor shape chord right here, all right, is going to be, I'm playing it up here on the 7th fret. This is an E minor. And what we have here is this guy, if you look at the intervals, 1, 5, 1, minor 3rd, 5. 1, 5, 1, minor 3rd, 5. And there is a direct relationship between its pentatonic, which is a form 4. Now, I'll give you the whole shape, starting from the thick E string. It's 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. But from the root note, just in case you want to study from the root note, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. It didn't change any shapes, it's just you didn't play the low E string. But now, if I did this, doesn't sound like Hendrix. But if I did this, and that whole piece of the chord down. And you can see this thing in Little Wing, by the way, where he goes, let's see, there it is. He's playing the E minor there, and he's playing a little bit of the form 4. Okay, so the A minor shape always gets a form 4. Hendrix does some really cool. He locks these fingers down, plays these pentatonics almost like chords. All right, that's Exhibit C, just so you want to know that. A minor shape goes form 4. Write this down. Now let's talk about the A shape. The A major shape. All right, this A major shape, just to let you know, would get a form 5 pentatonic, but it's not what Hendrix does. Now, the form 5 B here. If I played a D chord on this fret, 5th fret, don't throw up right now. I'm already throwing up from how much information I'm spitting out. But the direct correlation, you know, you have this chord 1, 5, 1, major 3rd, and 5. And the idea is there is a pentatonic, a major pentatonic, which is the form 5, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. But we're not going to use that, okay? What does Hendrix do? Well, if you remember from the beginning of the video, the A shape always connects to the G shape. This guy, that's a D chord, this is a D chord. All right? So what he does is he'll mentally play this, or play this little piece, and then he'll change shapes to this G shape. Now, fun fact, this is Exhibit D, and this is the hardest one, is this is my same chord. A shape connects to the G shape, and the G shape also gets the form 1 pentatonic, but this is the root note. Or that's the root note, not the minor root note, the major root note. Remember, pentatonics have major and minor root notes. So this guy here connects to the G shape, and this G shape gets the form 1 pentatonic as well, and we name this a major pentatonic because we're playing a major chord underneath it. Alright, so when Hendrix plays this guy, you're going to see him take his ring finger, slide into this form 1 pentatonic, and do the same thing he does for the minor. So you get this. Okay, so now, if you were the jury, I'd recap and say Exhibit A is an E minor chord shape, and the E minor chord shape always goes with the form 1. And if you hold the pieces of the form 1 pentatonic down when you're mentally playing, you know, when the chord is this guy, you can hear that Hendrixism. When you play a major chord shape, you're going to switch to a form 2, hold a piece of the chord down, play a little bit of that pentatonic. So you can see the direct correlation. Then for the minor A minor shape, okay, it's a form 4. And for the A shape, he kind of bypasses it and connects to the next CAGED chord and uses that form 1. Now, that's Exhibit A, B, C, and D, but we're not done. Let's talk about Exhibit D, the last one, which is, if you look at some riffs from Little Wing, now I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you have the beginning, you know, I'll probably play the whole thing, you know, you have this. And then it starts off on the A minor. On the G, G. This is where the song starts. So look where I am. I'm a root note on the E string. So he mentally knows that the G major chord is here. So he grabs this note with his thumb, right? Okay, we can say, hey Ian, that's just a chord tone with a little bit of suspension. I get it. Then he moves up to his A minor. Now the A minor played right here on this root note would be the E minor chord shape. Back to the E. And now E, and he has this E minor pentatonic riff here. Now the E minor form 4, okay, goes to the E. And now he's up here around the 7th fret, and he plays this. If you look at that, there's your A minor. There's that form 4 pentatonic. Then he goes to the B minor. Now, he does do something crazy here. He puts that 9th in. Okay, I messed up. All right, but you can see that 90% of that was that form 1 pentatonic, right? 90%. And it's okay. Where there's smoke, there is fire. Then he moves down, and then he plays. Now, there is really this A minor to a C chord. But you can see how we're playing the A minor, and you can see this. first finger's locked. He is playing some notes up here. Again, one or two of them is outside the pentatonic right now. We can talk about that later date. It totally makes sense, but I'm not talking about diatonic, just pentatonics. And then he goes into his ninth chord, so that G9. And the idea here is that in that intro writing, you can see how he mentally played, like, his E minor up here played a form 4, his A minor here played the form 1, right? Oh, and then at the end, he plays the C. Okay, so at the end of this riff, after the G9, the F9, he goes C, and you'll hear him, there's the A shape. To the D chord, slides up, something like that. And you can see him in that form 1. There's that D chord linking to the G shape. So I presented all of my evidence. Did Hendrix use the CAGED chord, pentatonic and chord system in his writing? You bet your sweet bottom he did, okay? And whether or not he was thinking about CAGED, it doesn't matter, but you can see the direct correlation. So if you want to write some riffs or some things in this Hendrix style, now be forewarned, Hendrix kind of sealed the deal on this style. What do I mean by that? Well, when Yellow Ledbetter came out by Pearl Jam, I was like, oh, that's just a Hendrix ripoff, and no offense to Pearl Jam, and no offense to you. It's just, really, it's a very iconic sound, and if you learn Yellow Ledbetter, you'll see the same exact stuff. That's the sound of it. It's an E chord, if I can play it. There's my E chord, and then B, then A, form 2. It's the same stuff. Now, do I play this stuff often? No, you can tell by how sloppy I am. But if you want to write your own stuff just to see it work, go do it, right? Write any chord progression you want. It can be A, it can be 1, 4, 5. And instead of trying to think about what scale do I solo with, think about the pentatonic relationship between the chord. This would be the E shape form 2. Then you have fun with it. Any chord progression using those 4 or 5 chord shapes. Hopefully I did my job. Go digest this. If you like this, share this. Make sure you subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming out, hopefully. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. And go write some Hendrixy riffs with the CAGED chord pentatonic relationship, which is pretty evident in some of his songs. All right, rock and roll. Bye-bye.